YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today is Monday, January 1st, first day of 2024. And I am doing my FTP test on Zwift, and I'm doing a ramp test. So the first time I did an FTP ramp test 4 weeks ago, my FTP was 260. Now I want to do one every 4 weeks. So the reason for that is I want to measure progress and see how I'm improving as I go on and spend more time on the bike. And also I want to make sure that my wattage per kg is where I need it to be in order to hit different goals when it comes to half Ironman and Ironman training. And I think anything that we measure gets managed. Being able to track this every 4 weeks as I put myself through this test is going to be really helpful. So, and I also just want to have a fairly accurate calculation of my watts per kg. So, take your FTP, divide it by your weight in kilograms, and that will give you your average watts per kilogram. So, what would be really good is 3.5 or higher. Beginner riders are probably in the 1 to 2, and middle riders, I would say in between 2 to 3 watts per kilogram. So depending on your weight and your power distribution, that's how you're gonna get that calculation. I'm a big data nerd when it comes to this stuff, so I love the numbers, and I really like to dive into this stuff after all my workouts and find maybe some areas or some low-hanging fruit where I can really improve. So the FTP test is a really good, opportunity to do that. What I'm going to be doing today on Zwift is the ramp test. It's probably one of the more popular tests. So a ramp test starts out really easy and then gets gradually harder as you go on. So every minute it'll increase the wattage by 20 watts. And essentially, you stay seated the entire time and you just pedal until you can't pedal anymore. And what better way to do it than on the first day of 2024, just under 6 months out from Ironman 70.3 in Mont Tremblant on June 23rd. So I've got a good window of opportunity here to really put in some strong work this year and show up really well for that race. It starts off with a 5-minute free ride, get the legs warm. You definitely don't want to cook yourself too early because it's going to get really hard very fast. So this is a maximal effort until exhaustion. So every pedal stroke counts. Okay. And yeah, you can't stand up in this, so you've got to stay seated. So it's important that you find a comfortable position, lock in, and just go all out. I did film when I first got my GoPro. Something was wrong with the audio, but I'll put some footage alongside, and you can see me go all out. My heart rate's a little high. It's at 110. I think that's because I'm a little nervous. Yeah, if I remember the first time I did this, like I want to say 6 intervals, first 6 minutes didn't seem like too difficult, and then it just came out of nowhere and I was just like dead and my legs just stopped moving. And then when I tried to continue to move, it was like cement, like the pedals are so hard to push. So I'm just looking to get my cadence turned up a bit right now. My little guy on the screen is wearing a top hat, I think to celebrate New Year's. Everyone has little top hats on instead of helmets. You can go longer than you think. That's kind of the mantra that I used in 2023. You're more capable than you think you are. And I want to continue that into this year as well. Just with more challenging things, mentally, physically, especially with these races, and really see what I'm capable of. All right, so the warm-up is about to end. I'll get some water now. Get this guy set up. The amount that I sweat on this thing is disgusting. But I do read that a lot of people sweat, but I'm telling you, it's like an ungodly amount. No surprise for me to lose between 3.5 to 4 pounds on a long ride. All right, here we go into the first interval at 120. Very easy, up to 140 now. Heart rate's sitting below 130, it's at 128. I'm sure it's gonna hit 130 here shortly. So I find it's important to keep your cadence really smooth, even through the easier ones. If you find you're moving too quickly and your feet are getting ahead of yourself, that's when it gets a little bit like unbalanced and choppy. So moving up to 160, and we are 8 minutes in. Still doing fine, it says. You should be. Okay, that's good. Feel good right now. I wonder if I should drop down for this, or this test will go from I'm fine to I'm toast pretty quick. 180 watts. Heart rate's getting up there now. It's at 143. Cadence is 85. Feels smooth right now. So I find it's super important to keep your breathing pretty steady too. Nice and relaxed. Don't let it get ahead of you, because that's when things start to go south pretty quickly. My cardio used to be so shit, but over the last 2 years, it's really improved. Inhaling through my nose, out through my mouth. All right, we're up to 200 watts now. I'm starting to feel a little warm right now. All right, we're about to move into 220 here in 3 seconds. Come up to 240 here. The thing I find that I gotta work on too is I get really tight on my handlebars. It causes a lot of pressure through my shoulders, my neck. So that's something that I wanna focus on. Keep loose. All right, 260. I need a fan. Feel a bit of a burn in my thighs. We're at 280. Move the mic here, so try and keep the audio a little bit more controlled, because I'm sure I'm gonna start breathing like crazy here soon. 300 watts right now. Not sure how much more talking I'm gonna do. I think we're entering the dark cave right now. All right, 320. Getting pretty sticky. Could really use some water. 340. Oh yeah. Head down, just pedal. $360. All right. It's getting pretty hard. Oh. 380. No. No. Fuck. Oh, I'm toast. Legs are like jello. Oh. New FTP set. Your FTP is now 275. Let's go. 15 watts increase over my FTP from 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. I'll take it. I was hoping it wasn't gonna be lower, otherwise I wouldn't have posted this video. Holy smokes. Oh. All right, if you haven't done an FTP test yet and you've got an indoor trainer in Zwift, I would definitely encourage you to do that for the reasons mentioned earlier in the video, but the biggest one for me is measuring my progress. Being new to cycling and only getting into it this year, I got my bike the beginning of May. Actually, Katie was the one that wanted bikes. Man, am I ever glad she suggested that, because I love it. I haven't had this much fun for a really long time, and completing some really awesome rides this summer with her and some friends. We did a 200 kilometer ride through Quebec in the summer over 2 days. That was my first big test, and I loved it. So being able to see results from the work that I'm putting in from strength training, time on the trainer, it really fires me up. So I'm really excited to see what comes of this. And yeah, new FTP. That's it for this YouTube video. Thanks for being here. Comment your FTP if you've got one. Comment any advice or tips you've got for me. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.